Good morning and welcome to Daybreak. I'm Josh Krupp, sitting in for Brittany Lawfer, who's currently sitting on a beach.
And I'm Blaine King, who is currently jealous of Brittany Lawfer. But coming up on this episode of Daybreak, we will tell you what bridge will be facing construction over the next year.
And the tuition here at Point Park is increasing once again, and we have the details.
And later, we will be joined in studio with representatives from Strong Women, Strong Girls to discuss their great work their group does.
Daybreak starts right now. I was finally able to go outside last week without a coat. It was shorts weather towards the end of the week.
It was. I was walking outside. I was sitting in Spanish class, and I'm like, oh, we please get out? The weather's too nice.
There was some rain towards the end of the week, but St. Patrick's Day was nice. Kyle Anthony at the weather studio. Hey, is it going to be nice this week, or are we going to continue those warm weathers?
Make it good news, Kyle.
Well, I have some great news for you guys today, and no reason to be jealous of Brittany, because we're going to get our own sun here. Guys, today we're going to have a high of 70. Now when we wake up in the morning, it's going to be about 52, but that's not too bad. A chance of rain like there always is, same as in Florida. So why be jealous of Brittany when we have our own fun in the sun? I think we're the real Sunshine State. So back to you guys at the couch. Hope you have your sunscreen on.
Thanks, Kyle. Now for campus news. A tuition increase is on the way for students here at Point Park. Students will see an increase of 2.9% in their tuition next year. Students in the Schools of Arts and Sciences, Schools of Business, and School of Communication will now pay $27,780 per student, while students in the, per year, students in the Conservatory of Performing Arts will pay $35,400. This increase comes a year after Point Park increased tuition by 4.9% for non-conservatory students and 3.9% for conservatory students.
Basketball season has come to an end for the Point Park men's basketball team. The men lost in the second round to Alice Lloyd by a score of 89-88. The loss came after Point Park erased a 6-point deficit to make it a 2-point game with a little over a minute remaining in the game. Point Park ultimately fell when guard Jeremy Williams missed a running 18-foot shot as time expired.
A few weeks ago, we did a story here on Daybreak about how the United Student Government sent a survey out to the student body regarding if they wanted to see a change in the shuttle routes on Sundays. 90% of the 304 students who took the survey said they would like to see a route change to East Liberty on Sundays instead of the waterfront.
Josh, last week, with the gorgeous weather, we had the opportunity to travel down to the North Shore to go to Root Sports.
It was a phenomenal experience. We got to go to Root Sports to watch them do the broadcast of the Penguins game. They were on the road, but the crew was still back in Pittsburgh doing all the behind-the-scenes stuff. We were in the control room. We got to meet the on-air talent. It was fantastic.
It was fantastic. A bigger setup than what we have, but kind of
similar.
A
lot of the same concepts, you know. They're doing the same things in the control room that our crew's doing tonight. Their talent has to get ready. They have to be prepared. It was really an incredible experience.
I know some of us wanted to touch the telestrator because we love touching stuff, but it was a great experience for both you and I and the other people that went, too.
It was fantastic.
But coming up on Daybreak, after the break, we will sit down with two representatives from the Strong Women, Strong Girls.
And later, we'll give you a recap on what's going on in the race for the White House.
Welcome back to Daybreak. Now joining us in studio, we are joined by Caitlin Lazier and Laura Polanen from Strong Women, Strong Girls.
Welcome to the program, ladies. Thanks for coming on this evening.
Thanks for having us.
So, first of all, what is Strong Women, Strong Girls? You have a pretty nice on-campus presence, but what are you guys all about?
So Strong Women, Strong Girls is an after-school mentoring program that serves girls in 3rd through 5th grade. We work with college volunteer women mentors who work with the girls so that they learn about strong women through history, as well as skills and competencies that they aren't necessarily getting enforced in their day-to-day lives. So that's things like critical thinking, recognizing your own talents and abilities, and teamwork, and just self-esteem and self-worth.
Nice. And what roles do you girls play in Strong Women, Strong Girls?
So I'm the program manager, which means that I am on staff for Strong Women, Strong Girls here in Pittsburgh. I work with all of our college campuses as well as our mentors and our sites.
And I'm one of 2 chapter directors at Point Park. I work with Erica Manguel as well. So me and Erica are in charge of overseeing basically just our chapter at Point Park and our girls. And we help to place the girls at the sites, and we help them through the mentoring year.
And you say this chapter at Point Park. How many chapters are there in the country? Are there a lot of them? Is it a small organization?
No, there are 6 chapters here in Pittsburgh. We also have our Boston office as well, which is where Strong Women, Strong Girls started. There are more chapters there too.
Okay. And you mentioned some of the work you do in the community with 3rd through 5th graders. What kind of work do you do on the campus of Point Park?
On campus, one of our biggest fundraisers is Wake Up Wednesday. That's every other Wednesday. And we have bagels and coffee set up either in Village Park or the West Penn lobby. It's all donation based, so anything you have, we're more than happy to take. It's just nice to get ourselves out there and to be talking with people on campus, and it's nice to see the reaction that we get. And then we also like to host a Galentine's event for Valentine's Day, and usually a spring splash as well.
How was Galentine's Day this year?
Galentine's Day was wonderful. It was so much fun. We usually bring out nail polish, a fondue fountain. It's just a great time.
Oh, fondue, my favorite.
You mentioned though, Wake Up Wednesday is your biggest contribution. Could you elaborate more on that, as in what kind of work goes into the Wake Up Wednesday, and how many donations or how much people on the campus of Point Park are actually attracted to it?
Wake Up Wednesday for us is great to have in Village Park most of the time, because we get people not only from Point Park, but people who are just walking to work in the morning. So we like to be there the most, because that gets the word out for us a lot more. And in terms of Point Park, we like to see a lot of people come up to the table, and they're really encouraging when they come up. They're just great.
Those mentoring sessions with the 3rd through 5th graders, talk about the process that goes into going to the schools and mentoring those and what you get out of it personally.
Mentoring is so wonderful, and you really don't realize how great it is until you're actually doing it. I know personally I didn't realize how important Strong Women, Strong Girls was until I was mentoring, because you don't really get a sense of how these girls might feel about themselves until you're there talking with them. So once they'll come up and give you hugs as soon as you walk in. They just want to talk with you the whole day long. It's one of the best feelings in the world.
Oh, I bet that is one of the best feelings in the world. And your organization as a whole, the Point Park chapter, I should say, how many members do you have a part of Strong Women, Strong Girls?
We have about 30-some members right now. Not all of them are mentoring because of scheduling conflicts, which is fine. But the girls who aren't mentoring, we usually like to have them help out with various events on campus, like Wake Up Wednesday.
How does a girl get involved with Strong Women, Strong Girls on campus?
On campus, they can come to our meetings every Wednesday night. They're in Student Center 701 at 9:15. And otherwise, just stop by the Wake Up Wednesday table and say hi, or they can send us an email.
Okay, cool. And are there any future events that you're working on to kind of complete before the year's done? Or even if we got to talk about next year, any future events that Strong Women, Strong Girls looking to work towards?
This year, we're currently planning our Spring Splash event, which will happen sometime around finals week. Nice relaxation around the busy time. So we're still working out all the details of that and when exactly that's going to be. So you'll just have to stay tuned.
And final question before we go to break. What is the most rewarding part about both of your jobs?
One of my favorite parts of my job is that I get to do site visits, which means I get to go and work and just observe what's going on at the different sites we have around Pittsburgh. So my favorite part is at the end of those, there's always a Strong Women, Strong Girls cheer, which all the girls know, all the mentors know, and we do at the end of every session. So every single time when I hear the girls and the mentors do that cheer, even if the girls are cranky that day because they didn't get recess and and they're really mad at their math class, they love the cheer, they love seeing the mentors, and you can really hear it at the end of the day.
And my favorite part of my job is just working with the chapter here. All of the girls they're the nicest girls you're ever going to meet, and they're all so encouraging of one another. And the meetings every week are just so great to go to, because everyone just has such a positive attitude.
Oh, that's wonderful.
The best
That is
part.
wonderful to
What a
hear.
great organization
That really
you guys
is
are
a great
to this
organization.
campus. Thanks for coming on once again. They're coming up next on Daybreak. We'll tell you what annual celebration happened in Pittsburgh over the weekend.
Welcome back to Daybreak. It's now time for your city news. Allegheny County homicide detectives continue to investigate a mass shooting that left 5 dead and 3 others injured last week in the backyard of a barbecue in Wilkinsburg. Police are calling this a targeted shooting that happened during a backyard cookout in the 1300 block of Franklin Avenue just before 11 p.m. Wednesday night. 3 women and 1 man died at the scene, and a 4th woman was later pronounced dead at UPMC Mercy Hospital. Investigators say 2 weapons were fired from 2 different shooters from an alley to the rear of the home. No arrests have been made, and a motive was not immediately known.
PennDOT plans to construct 59 projects in Allegheny County this year for a total of $189 million. The largest of these projects is right in our backyard. PennDOT will start this summer on a more than $80 million project to repair the Liberty Bridge. It carries about 54,000 vehicles every day and is on the state's list of structurally deficient bridges. The project will replace the bridge deck and revamp interchanges on the bridge. It will require long-term closures to and from the Boulevard of the Allies that will continue through 2017. PennDOT will also fix 36 bridges and pave or resurface about 60 miles of roadways in Allegheny County.
City Council also approved last week to advance legislation that would bring goats to local parks this summer. Officials think the grazers will help eliminate knotweed and other plants that jeopardize trees and other plant life. The herd of 10 goats and 1 miniature donkey named Hobo will graze in sections of Highland, Emerald View, and West Penn parks this summer. The goats will arrive in Highland Park around mid-June and will be held back by a portable electronic fence, along with a second snow fence barrier. They will move to the other parks when they finish their grazing in the bush-clogged areas.
Now, St. Patrick's Day may not be until Thursday, but Pittsburgh already hosted its annual St. Patrick's Day Parade on the holiday. Saturday's parade is the second largest St. Patrick's Day parade in the country, only to Chicago. Pittsburgh's parade featured 23,000 participants and 200 marching units, including 18 marching bands. The 10 a.m. parade was just the start of the celebration for the city. Festivities continued throughout the afternoon, including in Market Square and on the south side. The city offered free parking and shuttle services in the congested South Side bar and restaurant district to deal with the large crowds.
Before we go to our Daybreak News Desk with Jess Paterchak, some unfortunate news happened last week. Former First Lady Nancy Reagan passed away last week, and Jess, she has a story. So Jess, can you inform us a little more on Mrs. Reagan?
Sure, Blaine. The wife of 40th President of the United States, Nancy Reagan, has died at the age of 94. She was an iconic political figure in her own right, but she felt a congestive heart failure this past Sunday in her home in Los Angeles. She supported her husband through and through, from transitioning to actor to governor and to eventually president. When he fell to Alzheimer's disease in 2007, she became a major spokeswoman for those affected by this tragedy. She was a figure that many looked up to and will be dearly missed. Renowned sports journalist Erin Andrews received $55 million in her civil suit against a Nashville Marriott hotel. It was there that she sued the company for releasing private information to a potential guest who later took photos of her while she was nude. Later, guilty party Michael David Barrett leaked these photos on the internet, causing millions to see. This caused Andrews to be emotionally unstable and lose her credibility as a national sports journalist. Following the final hearing, Andrews tweeted saying, quote, "I would like to thank my family, friends, and legal team. I've been honored by the support from victims around the world. Their outreach has helped me be able to stand up and hold accountable those whose job it is to protect everyone's safety, security, and privacy," end quote. And in other news, a natural gas leak has caused havoc in a suburban Greenwood, Seattle neighborhood. It completely obliterated multiple buildings while sending over 9 firefighters to Harborview Medical Center. In the chaos, local utility crews had to resort to drilling to reach the valves needed to shut off gas in the area. It was extinguished around noon on Wednesday with the help of over 70 local firefighters. The injured firefighters are said to have sustained cuts and abrasions and should be released in due time. Now let's go back to Josh and Blaine at the couch.
Stay tuned, because after the break, find out all the headlines in the entertainment and the sports world.
And after that, we'll check in on the 2016 race for the White House.
Welcome back to Daybreak. I'm Sarah Maculin with your sports update. MVP quarterback Peyton Manning announced his retirement Monday after playing 18 seasons in the NFL. Manning was emotional at his press conference, saying, quote, "Well, I fought the good fight. I finished my football race, and after 18 years, it's time. God bless all of you, and God bless football," end quote. Calvin Johnson was another NFL star to announce his retirement. The Pro Bowl wide receiver called it quits after 9 seasons with the Detroit Lions. This duo added to the other big-name retirements this offseason, joining running back Marshawn Lynch and cornerback Charles Woodson. Russian tennis star Maria Sharapova announced on Monday she failed a drug test at the Australian Open. The 5-time major champion tested positive for meldonium, a drug that became a banned substance under the WADA code this year. Sharapova addressed the issue, saying, quote, "I take great responsibility and professionalism in my job. And I made a huge mistake. I let my fans down. I let the sport down that I love so deeply," end quote. Sharapova could face a potential multi-year ban by the International Tennis Federation. Now on to the NBA. The Golden State Warriors suffered a shocking loss Sunday to the 13-51 Los Angeles Lakers to break their 7-game winning streak. The Warriors shot just 13.3% from three-point range. However, their win Monday against the Orlando Magic upped their record to 56-6. This win increased the Warriors' chances of reaching 73 wins to 35%, bringing them closer to surpassing the NBA season record of 72 wins set by the 95-96 Chicago Bulls. Adding on to the topic of upsets, 2 more shockers occurred this past weekend in the sport of UFC fighting. Underdog Miesha Tate defeated Holly Holm Saturday night to win the UFC bantamweight title. Tate handed Holly Holm her first career loss in UFC 196. In the same night, UFC star Conor McGregor lost to Nate Diaz after 2 rounds. McGregor had gained 25 pounds prior to the fight to step up a weight class and compete against Diaz. McGregor dealt humbly with his loss, saying, quote, "I've been here many times in my life in some form or another. I'll eat it all and come back stronger," end quote. Now with another topic that has kept everyone glued to their televisions, let's go to entertainment with Casey Houlihan.
Did he or didn't he? That was the question on everyone's mind during the infamous 1994 murder case, O.J. Simpson versus the People. And although O.J. was acquitted of the double murder of Nicole Brown and Ron Goldman, conversation surrounding the verdict has picked back up due to the popularity of the new 10-part FX series depicting the case. This past week, it was revealed that a 5-inch knife, currently being tested by the LAPD, was found on the perimeter of the Brentwood estate, apparently in 1998, and given to retired cop George Maycott in 2003. Maycott, however, did not turn the knife in until recently. Maycott's attorney, Trent Copeland, released a statement saying, quote, "He also doesn't want to be portrayed as the villain here, as the bumbling cop who had evidence here and did not do anything with it. He did ask what he should do with the knife," unquote. After a preliminary review, many experts believe that the knife is unrelated to the 1994 case and has most likely been a hoax. Even if the knife is found to contain O.J.'s DNA, he cannot be retried for the murder due to double jeopardy. Another big scandal this week is the controversy over Kim Kardashian's latest nude selfie. Kim posted the risque picture on her Instagram, captioning it with, quote, "When you're like, I have nothing to wear, LOL," unquote. While some fans were extremely supportive, several celebrities called her out. Bette Midler tweeted, quote, "Kim Kardashian tweeted a nude selfie today. If Kim wants us to see a part of her we've never seen, she's going to have to swallow the camera," unquote. Kim responded to these criticisms, stating, quote, "I am empowered by feeling comfortable in my skin. I am empowered by showing the world my flaws and not being afraid of what anyone is going to say about me. And I hope that through this platform I have been given, I can encourage the same empowerment for girls and women all over the world," unquote. Finally, we have some sad news. Sir George Martin, famous producer of the Beatles and often referred to as the fifth Beatle, died in his home Wednesday at age 90. In a statement, Paul McCartney referred to Martin as a father figure, saying, quote, "If anyone earned the title of the fifth Beatle, it was George," unquote. From the day that he gave the Beatles our first recording contract to the last time I saw him, he was the most generous, intelligent, and musical person I have ever had the pleasure to know. His son, Giles Martin, sent out a tweet saying simply, quote, "Started out as my dad, ended as my best friend. Love is all you need," unquote. Now let's check in with Kyle again to see how the weather looks for the rest of our week.
Well, the weather's looking amazing for the upcoming week. I mean, just look at it. I mean, Monday, it's going to be warm. There is a slight chance of rain, as we saw. But look, it stays warm. But, I mean, towards Friday, it starts to cool down. But, guys, I think we should just get rid of all these heavy coats we have because you're not gonna need them. All right, this is the perfect chance to go outside, play a little catch with a friend. So I'm going to toss it back to my second baseman, Josh Krupp, and lead us in to the next story.
Boy, thanks, Kyle, for that weather report. Josh, from crazy stuff in the sports world with Peyton Manning retiring, entertainment world, we know about Kim Kardashian and her tweets.
Oh, boy. And there's always the weather.
Always the weather. Got to leave it to Kyle to give us an entertaining weather. But we are in the heart of the primary season, and we are starting to find out who are the front runners for the White House.
Now, coming up after the break, we'll tell you who they are and how close they are to obtaining the party's nominations. Welcome back to Daybreak. While we were on spring break, we missed Super Tuesday as well as several other primary races.
Joining us in studio, guess who? Our producer, our co-producer actually, Trevor Sheets, to help us figure out where we stand in this confusing presidential race.
Now let's start with the Democratic side. It's a two-person race right now. One woman, one male. We all know who they are, Trevor. Let's get everybody caught up to speed on the race so far.
Okay, so right now, if you look at the delegate count, Hillary Clinton has a big lead. She has exactly, let's see here, was 700? Yeah, 768 delegates, but that's a little bit of a misleading number because she has 472 superdelegates. And for those of you who do not know what a superdelegate is, it is a delegate that is given to one of three categories. It is either a former president or vice president, a current congressperson, or a person in the Democratic National Committee. Now, you can only be a superdelegate in the Democratic Party. There's none of these in the Republican Party. And these superdelegates can decide to put their support behind anybody at any point in time. So right now, Hillary has a commanding lead with those superdelegates, but in 2 or 3 weeks, they could easily change it to have something that's much more even standing. As you can see with those regular pledge delegates, it's a lot closer in that aspect. I mean, Hillary still does have a substantial lead, but as we've seen, Hillary's command of the South. Bernie's had command of a lot of the North, a lot of the working class, Rust Belt, and we're getting into more and more of those primaries. So it'll be interesting to see if when we get into Illinois and Ohio, which I know we'll talk about a little bit later, it'll be interesting to see if those things can bring Bernie a little bit closer to Hillary. I think it will.
And Hillary also has a lot of the minority vote, which is really carrying her.
And that's been the big thing in the South specifically is those minorities. And most of the southeastern primaries, the SEC primaries, if you will, have been taken care of outside of North Carolina, which is coming up soon as well, except that one in Florida. Florida is going to be key. That's not just an African-American vote. That's a Hispanic vote, which is also a big group for the Democrats. So we'll have to see how she carries them.
And as we have on our screen right now, the upcoming primaries happening on March 15th and March 22nd. Before we get to the Republicans and how much delegates they have already, we see Florida, Illinois, Missouri, Ohio for the 15th, and Arizona, Idaho, and Utah. Can you explain a little more detail?
Sure, yeah. So the two to look for on March 15th that are really going to make a difference are the Florida and Ohio primaries. Especially, we talked about already with Bernie and Hillary because Florida has that minority Hispanic vote, which Obama got back when he ran for both of his presidencies. He got that. It'll be interesting to see which of the two candidates picks up that. And they also have the biggest delegates of the ones in those next few groups with 246, which is huge because the number they have to hit is 2,000, almost 3,000 delegates. So if they can get those 246, now they won't get all 246. Right. They distribute based off percentage. But if they can get that, it'll be huge. Ohio, Illinois, those are all big. Ohio is bigger to the Republican than it is to the Democrats.
Yeah, and
let's talk about the Republican race because Florida and Ohio both, they're coming up on the 15th, and they are huge races, especially for a couple of our nominees, potential nominees.
Absolutely. Marco Rubio comes from Florida. He needs to win that primary. Right now he is in third place, as you can see over there on the screen, excuse me, and he needs Florida. And right now, according to a lot of exit polls I've seen from CNN, amongst others, he's not even leading in his home state. That's Donald Trump, who does have a big presence in the state of Florida. If he can't carry Florida, he's done. Same thing with Kasich, who pretty much is already finished. He has, what, 54 delegates. If he can't get his state of Ohio, which he's also trailing by Donald Trump to, they're both going to be out. We're going to see them out within the next week.
Now, Kasich could do what he did in Virginia and take votes away from other people. He took a lot of votes away from Ted Cruz in Virginia, which gave Donald Trump that state. So Kasich staying in could still play a big factor in this race going forward.
Yeah, that's the thing, especially for the people that are trying to catch up to Donald Trump. Donald Trump's not taking delegates from anybody. It's everyone else that is really suffering by the fact that Kasich is still in the race. So if he can continue to pull, then Donald Trump is going to continue to support him staying in.
Yeah.
And interesting thing with Donald Trump is that he got to the support of Ben Carson. That's big because Carson was that other guy who wasn't part of the regular group of Republicans. They're going to get his support as well.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see because Kasich said if he wins Ohio, he's going to continue and he's going to take it all the way to Cleveland. But thanks for joining us on Daybreak. Trevor, thanks for joining us on your show.
Anytime.
Well, next week, Brittany will be back, and make sure you come back as well for more news,
more entertainment,
and everything in between.
Have a great week, Point Park. We'll see you next week.